Okay. So, Ivan, the stage is yours. Please feel free to share whatever material you want. Stage is yours.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here.
Is it okay if they stop you for questions, Ivan, during the presentation?
If it's all right, I'd like to do the presentation first and then for Q&A, if it's all right.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, please.
Alrighty, so in case you saw the alumni slideshow for the IEEE presentation, my name is Evan Fus, and I am here to notify everybody about a possible fulfilling career direction in the engineering field. It may not be for you, it might be for you. I am here today to give the facts about this fulfilling career direction from point A to PE. So a little bit about myself. I am a Purdue Northwest alumni, graduating with my master's in electrical engineering last semester and a bachelor's in engineering technology back in May, about 5 years ago. I've had 4 to 5 years of combined experience in an engineering firm, a switchgear manufacturer, and in field engineering. And I've took both the FE and the PE, and the only step I have left is the years of experience. So into the great unknown. If you don't know, you might some of you in this room might know what you want to do after graduation. Some of you might not know what to do afterwards. You might think 1 to 5 years from now. Where do you see yourself in that timeline? Once you receive your degree. And for this career direction, this is something where you might have to think big picture, as big as the screen I'm being projected on right now. Now think 10, 20, or even 30 years. I'm here today to provide that direction that makes this long-term thinking possible. So, how can we demonstrate our qualifications whenever we're job searching, either on LinkedIn or on the company website? What do these companies look for in their job requirements? They look for academic degrees like you all are right now, work references to vouch for you, and the technical skills you gained during your time at PNW. You have all of this on the resume, but what if I were to tell you today that there's a universal standard that is recognized throughout the profession that combines all of the qualifications into one licensure? And today, that's a PE. So let me get to my next one here. So why get a license in engineering? There's some in the field that don't require an engineering license, but in another field like in electrical, for example, in power engineering, you will need to get some sort of licensing. So why engineering licensing? It tells me that this person has met certain standards and is trusted to safeguard the health, safety, and welfare of the public. And there are other professions out here similar, like physicians, accountants, and attorneys. So for the PE, which stands for professional engineer, they have the education. They have met the education, experience, and technical knowledge in their respective engineering field. It works both ways, where you stand out of the crowd as a PE and you are trusted to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. So the benefits of having that PE license, what can it do for me and what can it do for you? It opens the career doors one would never thought it would open. This includes opening a firm, getting into consultant, signing and sealing a design, bidding for public money, and advertising your services. I do apologize if my cat is meowing in the background.
That's fine.
In a stack full of resumes going through the ATS, yours is the one that will stand out. You belong to a licensed profession, and not just you serve your employer, but you also serve to the public. That includes everyone such as you and me. And the best part of all is you typically earn more money than peers without a PE. So that's a plus. So there are 3 steps for going from point A to PE. Now, some might think it, like any career direction, it would be linear, such as step 1, step 2, with step 3. So for the time being, I like to start with linear, going from 1, 2, and 3. So typically the first step of getting your PE license is what you all are doing right now, pursuing your degree. Generally, engineering license boards require a bachelor's degree from an EAC ABET accredited program. That is the standard for licensing, but I have seen states that do accept other degrees such as engineering technology and math and science degrees, with the only condition of going into my, hopefully we get to step 2, so which is demonstrating your work experience, where you would need to demonstrate acceptable, progressive, and verifiable work experience in the industry. What does it mean? Well, when you start off at a new job, you start off with a simple task, and as time goes by, you start to get into the more complex, the more responsibility and more challenges as you gain that experience. So typically, those with the EAC ABET accredited degree typically require 4 years of experience, but in some states, there are states that will accept and be bachelors in engineering and technology, where they would only need to demonstrate 8 years of that work experience. And then number 3, passing the FE exam, which is typically done either at some point during your college career or right out after you graduate. And then passing your PE exam in your engineering discipline. Now you know what I say, that it might be linear. So it's basically getting your education first, and then passing your FE, getting your experience, and then passing your PE. Well, in some cases, it doesn't matter the journey, where you might have passing the FE first, getting your degree, and then getting your work experience, and then passing your PE. In some cases, you might gain experience, which there might be someone in this room here that is currently working right now, that is currently pursuing their degree. So, and some people might have step 2, step 1, getting their degree, and then 3, pass their FE, and then their PE. Sometimes it's not linear, and in the end, your end goal here is when you have the initials PE after your last name. So this is the moment you all have been waiting for, the FE exam. So the FE exam is known as Fundamentals of Engineering. This will cover everything in your degree. And it covers material you have learned from your first year, when you have all Calc 1, Calc 2, and all of your chemistry and physics. And then all of the last 2 years with your engineering courses. I'm sorry. Basically, your whole degree is on this exam. And this exam is intended for those that are still in school, preferably in their senior year, or those that just graduated. And so the FESM is it has 7 freestanding discipline-specific exams, including chemical, civil, computer, and electrical, environmental, industrial systems, and mechanical, and other disciplines. Now, let me go ahead and pop off this slideshow for a while to show you an example of the exam specifications. If I can find it somewhere. Exam guide. Oh, where did I put it? So I do apologize if I don't have it with me, but if you have your name and email with the sign-in sheets, I will send you the specifications, but it covers your math and sciences. It covers all your electrical courses, such as digital systems, circuit analysis, power engineering, electronics, and even computer engineering, such as networking. So the FE reference handbook is the book you will use during your exam, but it will be by computer. And traditionally, back in the day, it used to be pencil and paper, but now they have it on the computer. So I would recommend making Control F your best friend. So the exam has 110 exam questions, and I'll let you on a little secret on the 110 exam questions. There are 10 of them out of the 110 that won't count, but I'm sorry. I'm saying it in the wrong way. So it can help, can hurt against your score. And the exam itself, it has standard and alternative items such as multiple choice, multiple correct options, and point and click, and the whole 9 yards. So for taking this exam, I mentioned this is on computer. Now this exam is taken at an approved peer reviewed test center, and you can take it anytime since it's year-round testing. So it's a 6-hour exam, which includes 2 minutes of looking through the non-disclosure agreement, 8 minutes of tutorial on how to use the interface of the exam itself, 25 minutes for a scheduled break after you answer the first 55 questions, and the remaining time for your exam, which is 5 hours and 20 minutes. You also have a limited breaks as well, but the bad news is it will go against your time. So I would recommend using those. Let me see here. So when should I take the FE? That's a good question. You might start studying tomorrow. You might think about it years down the line. But when exactly should I take the FE? Well, I have heard about this, and those out of school and current students, like you guys in the audience, are more likely to pass than someone who has been out of school for years. Because part of you would still has the studying mindset versus someone who graduated and got into the groove of their job they're working right now, and finding the time of studying, such as they haven't reviewed over the years, could be a disadvantage to them, as in more time for them to take longer. So and then once you pass your FE, then comes your PE exam. Now, this is specifically for those that typically have their 4 years of experience, pass the FE, and get their degree. So the PE exam itself reflects real-world practice. It tests for a level of minimum competency in this field. And if you're interested in looking at the specifications of what field you might see yourself fit in, they have NCES.org has a website where they have specifications and PE practice exams available. So the categories, some of the subjects here are still in paper and pencil mode, and as of right now, NCES is currently transferring some of the subjects here from pencil and paper to computer-based testing. So electrical, for example, there's three subcategories in an electrical computer, which is power, computer engineering, and electronics. The electronics and computer portion subcategories of the exam are pencil and paper, where you can only test only twice a year on at a specific date. While power is year round, where you can take it anytime, like you can take it tomorrow, for example. Again, just like the FE exam, it's administered and approved, and typically you take those exams at a administered and approved test center like at Pearson View. There's one in Maryville, there's one in Chicago. Some of it is year-round testing. Some subcategories have year-round testing for large volume exams, and subcategories have once per year testing for small volumes. So I take back what I said about twice a year. But the specific date is probably somewhere around October, if I recall correctly. What's next? So you look around this room and you're thinking about the information I had just thrown at you, and you might be wondering, will this be for me? Will I need this year down the line? Will I need to take it to graduate? Maybe. But I can assure you this is, as far as I'm concerned, it's not required. Like, you're not required unless you have a job that specifically requires you to take the FE to pursue licensing. But if you're looking for, I know there's a number of career directions to go in the electrical engineering field. So for licensing, this is where you got to think big picture. And it's not, and I will tell you, this is not especially for the FE, this was not an easy exam for me. If you see on my second slide, you see the parentheses here where I had 3 attempts for the FE, and then my first attempt passing the PE. But I can assure you how I cannot express how much impact it'll have on your career in such a good way. I'm trying to understand how impactful it is. So for the resources, it's available on My PNW Life. I'm sure it's still on the IEEE. So for overall, the big picture, you keep your eye on the target, and there are resources that can help you get there, just like some of the resources on My PNW Life. So licensure, the next step is yours. I know I might have gone fast, but I'm ready to start with the Q&A.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. So guys, that presentation gives you a hint on how to begin, at least with the FE licensure. There will be material that have to do with the test guides that I'll be with Professor Zetanoglu will be posting on Bright Space soon after this presentation is over, as well as this presentation slides. So before we move into the details, do you have any questions? Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, so I have a question about what study material that you would recommend or that you personally use for your team.
So even one question is, what do you recommend in terms of study material in preparation for the FE and PE test probably?
Now, in the My PNW Life folder for IEEE, before I graduated, I left some of the materials in there some students can use. So there's a variety of material to use to study for the FE. Some might still be geared towards what I first back in pencil and paper days and what is the computer-based testing days. So I would say my number one resource would be the practice exam itself and CESS, because that will be what the FE exam is based on. If I had to go with number 2, and you'll see this in hopefully I've mentioned this in the Read Me First Word document in there, I recommend the Lindenberg Lindenberg books. It is more complex on the questions, but personally, I feel like I got closer to the exam itself, and it did help me pass on the third try. And another one I would recommend as well is the same resource that I've used to pass my PE, which is Zach Stone FE exam. You can look it up on Google. He has a number of videos out that he does no charge. It's still in the works, but if I got a lot out of him for the PE, I am sure you'll get a lot out of him for the FE.
My attribute PNW, do you have
Yeah,
access?
so I do have the files, it's mainly electrical computer engineering. So
Can you still share them with like me?
I'll share that with
And
you,
then I-
you share them with the team,
Yeah,
and I can share them with anyone else, the freshman, sophomore, just reach out to me.
so we put the material on Brightspace. Those who can access those material are the senior design students registered for the course. Apparently, they are the only ones who can see the Brightspace, platform for the course. Now, freshman or junior or anyone who is not registered for this course can get the material directly from Anvit
Yeah,
or
just
me.
follow, yeah,
So there's that.
just follow us on my PNW Live, I took lead and Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer. I'll make a post shortly about that. Sorry for the emergency.
If I may interject on the freshman and junior, so I've read somewhere in NCES they didn't have a specific rule to where you have to be a senior or out of school to take the FE exam, but yeah, I would say it's possible for them, but the exam is intended for those in their final year or out of school, based on they've learned everything from the last 4 years of their degree. But if a freshman still happens to pass this, kudos to them. But they would have to graduate first if they were to actually get licensed. This is something I might have read a long time ago.
Other questions? Yes,
I
Dave.
have 3 questions.
3 questions, okay,
Lay it out.
go ahead.
So my first question is, are there different types of FE exams? I know you said there's different PEs, so like, is there different FEs, like one for electrical computer, one for mechanical, one for civil?
Yep.
Yep,
Okay,
mechanical, civil also, we have different textbooks. While I was listening the presentation, I look at the book. There are many chapters, involves math, 15, 16 chapters, then material science, basic mechanics. So that is true. I agree with Evan. Michael Lindeberg, I got my PE license dating back to 87. Yeah, 87 in Hammond campus. But this is the time for FE. Why? Because you are so fresh with the math, so fresh with the material science, electrical materials. There are different exams. So for your question, Michael Lindeberg back then was the reference most widely used. In fact, I remember yellow color booklet. So that means still around. My time, there were 8 subjects, 20 questions, 160 questions. And that was 4 hours plus 4 hours after lunch. Nowadays, how many hours, Evan, is the test now? 3 hours?
The exam itself is 5 hours and 25 minutes, and it consists of 110 questions.
In my time, it was called, what was that? EIT, Engineering and Training, but now FE, Fundamentals of Engineering. PE exam also, I took it on this campus. I used to remember many candidates bring boxes of books because it was open book, and then that is specifically, even if you are mechanical engineer, designed for heat transfer or machine design to specific subject matter. So thank you for the time. That was your first question. So there are different civil, mechanical, electrical. What is the second question, David?
so you said something about, there's 110 questions and 10 of them don't count at all.
Can you?
Yes, the Evan, There are 110 questions. I believe you mentioned that 10 questions are there for evaluation purposes that do not count towards the final.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Right?
sorry. So this is something I have learned. I'm not sure if someone might have caught wind from SES or something, but it's there. And I've learned this for the PE as well.
And
There are 10 questions in there that are meant to be used as future test questions for the future exams. If everybody does well on those questions, it'll be on the future exam. If not, then it's not going to be featured on here. So it's just a little, just a little something I've learned. Basically, it can hurt you it can hurt you, but it can help you, unfortunately.
do you know what these questions are, or are they just given as standard questions?
It's randomly set inside.
So are they identified as questions that do not count?
No, they're not identified.
That question did.
Okay.
And it's a multiple choice, correct, Evan? Multiple choice exam.
I would say 90% of the questions here will be multiple choice, but there are questions with multiple options, fill in the blank. I think I got a question or two that were fill in the blank, a question or two with point and click.
Yeah, in my time, it was 70% was passing. On the P exam, I guess, depending on the average score. So what is the passing score for fundamentals of engineering exam? 70% or average?
So I believe personally, and this is the biggest secret NCAS has. So basically, it's more like a mental exam. I'm not sure how to put it this way, but you base it's such a weird way to put it, but you don't get points off if you answer the question wrong. But it really depends on what NCAS does. Like you could be one question, like for failing, you can have all the questions wrong or one question away from passing. And for passing, you can have all of them correct or one question away from failing. So they're not going to tell you, but the only result you ever get to get is a pass or a fail.
Okay, so one more thing I want to make sure you all understand. Professional engineering exams are granted by the states. So once you pass your FE, you have to have work experience. Then you apply for professional engineering exam. In my time, it was solving the problems, probably still same. Then once you pass that, state of Indiana gives you the license. What if I go to another state, like where Evan is, Kentucky or Michigan? You can transfer it, but on the new state, especially many of us works for Chicago. That means if I have Indiana, I need to apply for Illinois too. And every year there was a membership fee. How much is it? Around like $100, $120 every year you pay for the state wherever you get your license. But it is very, very beneficial. I saw many benefits of it. Earlier, late 80s and 90s, we used to have Saturday under the continuing education program, preparation fundamentals of engineering. Week 1, we were teaching the math that was taught by math professor. Second week, I teach thermo, heat transfer. And then we had engineers from the local industry, Saturdays under continuing education program, 3 hours long, short courses. It was like 12, 14 weeks duration. So that gives many engineers who works outside, left the school for some time ago, opportunity to refresh their materials. So you can transfer the PE license from one state to another, but first get the FE. This is the perfect timing. Earlier, it was April and October, but I think, did they change right now?
Back in 2010, NCES voted to have a plan to transfer all of the FE and PE going from paper and pencil to computer-based testing. And they transferred all of the FE to computer-based since 2014. So basically, if you walk into a Pearson View Center today and you want to take the FE, it's going to be using computer. But the bad news is you can't bring in all the boxes of materials to bring with you. The only thing you're gonna have is the reference handbook, which I strongly recommend the downloading. And then if you want to get a hard copy, you can do so. So for the PE, it gets interesting because there are some categories that are still within the pencil paper type exam, and there are some that are in the computer-based testing. And I think this accelerated during this transition from pencil to paper to computer-based accelerated during the pandemic. So I think by 2028, when they get structural engineering in, then all of the exams will be in computer-based testing.
Great, great. What is your third question, David?
I actually had another one too.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so first one, he says it's like 70% pass, right?
Oh, is 70% pass? He's asking, is correct?
It is really hard to tell.
It's hard to tell, you say.
If I would have known the certain percentage, then everyone would have used it, and I would have confirmed with you if it were 70%. But I have heard that it's somewhere around that area. So it can't be like 70% of 110 you got correct and boom, you passed the exam. It basically they're gonna keep this a secret. And if there's any secrets that link, then and even if a question you might have leaked on social media, they will revoke your exam and they will work fast. So I can't tell for sure the certain percentage of passing. All I know is they're gonna give you a pass or a fail.
Okay,
Wish I had that number.
and then, so like, I'm electrical computer, so like, the test is only from my stuff, not anyone else's.
Yeah, he's an electrical computer engineering student. He said only from my stuff. He's asking.
Come again?
He's an electrical and computer engineering student. He's asking all the questions is gonna be related to my area, ECE.
Yeah, for the electrical, it will be both electrical and computer. But I would say personally, mostly electrical, but there will be some computer in there. And they have a good portion for math and sciences. That's where your first year math and science courses will be of good use.
Oh, that's one more question.
Yes,
So, is there like mini tests in the test, like if like certain subjects only have a certain number of questions?
mini tests, example tests.
As for example, tests
Well,
or
like
the
we-
portion of the
and the
portion
actual-
that contributes.
Yeah, like how much like does each contribute, like how many sections?
For example, what are are there sections within the exam, like how much percentage math contributes to the test? How much what is the percentage that contributes to the circuits part? How many for that for the electronics part and so on? Is
Yeah.
there a specific contribution for each subject?
Right, physics and.
I'm about to pull. I'm gonna pull that up right now for everybody. So this is the document I was meant to show you during the presentation. So this will give you a breakdown.
Even you are sharing the presentation slide. Maybe.
Oh, I'm still sharing it. Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and get off of there. Okay, where is that share? Is that it? Oh, okay, here we go. So this sheet, it basically goes over what the FE and what category will be on the exam itself.
Oh, nice, nice.
So this will give you an estimate of how many questions are typically on this exam. So mathematics, for example, you can have one exam that is 11 questions, some might be 17. And as I slowly go down, you can see how each subject is split up. And here's another big one, circuit analysis, your ECE 201 and 202. That's when they'll be helpful there. You also got electronics here. That's a big portion. Oh, power systems, my favorite subject. That's going to be a big one too. So as I slowly go down at all of these subjects, this is the material you've learned at some point when you pursuing all of those classes from the last 3 years.
Wow.
The- it's a number of it's an estimate of how many will typically this subject of this particular subject will be on here, but in the end, all of it is going to be add up to 110 questions.
And there's 17 subjects.
Yep.
What do you mean?
Yeah, here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's from the official website.
Okay.
I assume it's a new, most updated version. But the point is, it's the entire curriculum.
This goes over everything from the very first semester when you're a freshman to where you're at right now, if you're a senior.
I have one question, Evan. If you have your fundamentals of engineering exam passed, let's say next April, this group of students are gonna graduate May 24. Do you think that will help them to get their first employment in a better company or better conditions? With the FE on the resume, do you think that will help?
It depends on what they want to do, but I will tell you that passing the exam alone looks beautiful on your resume to employers. So I would say the earlier the better. So in case you want to go for another prestigious position where they might require your FE, so this might be the case for you. Again, it really depends on whatever job you're looking for.
Well, question, it's doing.
So I saw that Evan had an undergrad in engineering technology, right? So can you talk about some of the differences in the process for engineering technology and then like if you had to take any additional math? I saw that I had to take an additional physics class, but typically we don't take one, but I saw there's like a form you have to fill out or.
Very good question. So one interesting question from the audience here is that if someone who is in EET background, does that person require to take more physics or math classes in order to in order to have a pleasant experience with the FE exam?
I didn't take any of those extra method science courses to take the FE. What the process of registering for the exam and taking the FE will always be the same for no matter what STEM, no matter what STEM degree you have, but it'll only be how do I put it this way? It will be accounted for your degree where you have to register whatever state you want to register as a EIT or a PE at some point during your career.
So do you think an undergraduate degree in engineering technology will be sufficient in terms of the math science courses for the FE test?
From personal experience, personally for me, I had to study longer than someone else that had an engineering degree. But I would say it took me 4 to 5 months of studying, plus maybe a little extra there to fully understand the material that's going to be on the exam. And some of the subjects I see here, I didn't even learn about during my days as an engineering technology student. But let me get this out of here. So I would say it is possible if you're willing to put in the longer time.
So probably not more courses to take, but more preparation to.
Yeah, but state of Indiana does not accept engineering technology graduates to take the PE exam, that I know. It used to accept like 30 years ago. Right now, state of Indiana does not. That depends on the state. But you are not technology major, right? Everybody in engineering. That's technology. Oh, it's technology? Yeah.
Now keep in mind that Evan has a master's degree in ECE.
Yeah.
He has a bachelor's degree in electrical technology. He has a master's degree in ECE, which is an engineering degree. Now, FE apparently is okay, and he didn't take more courses to meet the particular science, math, requirements. He had more preparation time to meet the requirements. As for PE, I don't know about that.
Yeah, check the Indiana state regulations, they will give you an answer.
I was looking at the Indiana administrative code and they just updated it, and I think you can do it, but you have to fill out the same amount form that proves that you took relevant.
Oh,
I think that's what,
okay.
but
But
yeah,
if you have a master's degree in engineering program, no problem.
I was considering.
You guys have it. Hey, Evan, do you recommend EET students to go for the MSECE? I know you have done that class before. You got a EET, you got a FET, then you're for the masters. Can you tell us, Tony? Sorry.
So the question is, do you recommend technology students to take MSECE?
It really depends on what they want to do. Like if they're serious about going for like seeing license, being a PE in your future, I would recommend to meet the education portion of whatever state you're going for. But for the FE, I did the process just I did the process of studying for it and just taking the exam, but I didn't register as an EIT in Indiana. For my third attempt, I didn't register for the I didn't register as an EIT after I passed my FE. So that's how I was able to take the exam, even though I didn't take extra courses after my EET degree.
Any other questions?
So Evan, do you recommend going for the FE and PE back to back? I know some states allow you to take the exam back to back and then get the PE certification 4 years later after you got the work experience.
I did back to back.
Did you do that?
It's a lot of fun. I wouldn't recommend it right after the FE though.
Okay.
So you can take the PE after you take your FE. It's just a matter of which state allows decoupling, because typically the process is you have to have the 4 years experience before you take the PE and then register as one. But there are a number of states, like North Carolina, for example, where I passed my PE. It's just basically confirming. I had to do research with each engineering board that allows decoupling, where you could take the PE early, won't gain the years of experience, but you would have to pass the FE. And also another challenge I have, and it could hinder if I were to pursue licensing in a number of states. But I had to confirm with the number of states I'm interested in gaining licensing in if they will take the early PE result, even though it's in another state. So I would recommend, if you don't want to get too wild with going from steps 1, 2, and 3.
Any other questions? Yes.
I know you mentioned for the PE exam for, and that it was for electrical, it was split up into 3 different tests. Is that similar for mechanical or?
Is it a standard that the PE test is split into 3 tests regardless of the discipline? You have an
I'm sorry, can you come again with the question?
Do you know if the standard of if the PE test is split into the 3 exams for all the disciplines? First, the PE test is split into 3 categories, right?
For electrical, it's gonna be discipline specific. This is basically intended like after you submerge yourself in 40 years of experience of this particular field. So my case would be power engineering.
So is it the same story for other disciplines like mechanical engineering? Do you know that?
That's correct. For the PE, it will be 80 questions long if you were to go with that bold step.
So mechanical engineering also split into different categories based on the background, right?
At the top of my head, I think refrigeration is one of the categories. Another one is fluids and machinery.
So the answer.
This is the license. Yeah, that's true. I don't know how many subjects like solid mechanic. This is how they give you. I did it always. I used it long time ago, but I don't use it.
Any other questions? Now, the PE is a very powerful and very beneficial, license because it allows you to do consulting.
Not only that, any place you work in consulting engineering, you got D size 48 by 36, 200, 300 drawings.
And that,
Hospital, school.
yeah, contractors and the
Yeah.
city hall, they need someone to certify the designs by the contractor. So
Yeah.
they will look for you. It's not the other way. They will look for you, not the other way.
First part of the set of drawings is the survey plot, then architectural drawings, then structural foundation, then floor plans, then electrical drawings, wiring and all this power, then MEP. You know what is MEP? Mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Mechanical drawings, plumbing, isometrics. Somebody needs to stamp that before that drawing set release for whatever the customer, school, hospital. You need to have in the office licensed professional engineers. So that is why if you get now fundamentals of engineering, for the state of Indiana, we gotta check the site. They require like you to have 3 to 5 years of experience, work experience before you get into PE exams. Then if you get it now, 5 years later, if you gain that experience in a company, you are now applying for project engineer. You start with entry level, 5 years later, you are project engineer, then you get your PE. That will put you in a position where you can stamp the drawings. Stamping the drawings makes you responsible, but companies have liability for you guys. So it's a very powerful tool. Stamping the drawings. You will get a better salary, better respect. It's little costly, but companies pay that, you know. I used to pay like 100. We have a professional development from the Purdue. And, you know, you're gonna pay, I don't know, I mean, nowadays, do you know how much is the PE license fees now, Evan? Like a $200, $100 per year?
For the licensing itself, it depends state by state. There's some with the application fee. It really depends. But for the exam itself, it's $175 for the FE exam and $375 for the PE. And this is all through NCEES. But for fees for actually getting the license, I would say it depends on the state by state thing, but I would say around 200 to 300 in that area for the PE. But if you could convince your employer to help you out with the funds in the future, I say that that'll be fantastic.
Even in order for someone to apply for the FE exam, I believe that he needs some references to back his, his application, right?
I don't remember requesting for I don't think I remember asking for references to take the exam itself. Basically registered through my NCEES, which I sent over through Discord. For references, I would say those will come in handy if you're registering for as an EIT in the state you want to go for.
So the student can register an account and pay the fees and go do the test, right? There are no other limitations.
There's no limitations. Like they can literally sign up today and take the exam tomorrow. But if you were to get licensed as an EIT in the state, there will be some companies that will require EIT registration. That's when you're going to need the references.
Yes.
What are EIT? Engineering training. EIT.
Oh, so you're an EIT when you pass the FE.
FE and EIT are the same thing.
Any other questions?
Oh, one more.
Okay, then.
How much does it cost per year for your FE? It costs money.
175. 175.
$175 for the FE, $375 for the PE, and this is each exam.
175.
I don't know, maybe the 175 application for the exam.
Is it 175 the application for the exam or the fees?
Just to take the exam.
How much the fees is yearly?
The exam fees, I think, is per attempt. it would be 175, but for the fees of gaining a license, I would say this is something where you need to read your state board for rules and regulations.
You need to pay that yearly on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
Like every year you need to pay something.
I believe so. There is a renewal for PE where you had to pay to maintain. But-
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Did we learn a lot about fundamentals of engineering? This is the time. So make your plans if you are planning to take FE, take it sometime in March or April. Done. You are correct. I just look at the books, math part, I mean, I think some of the things, I know the materials. So you gotta be good in whatever your specific area.
So guys, as you can see, the presentation is more general because many of the material that has to do with FE is censored. So the speaker cannot bring questions from the FE and say, okay, here are some questions that I get. And there are some other, some details that we can't expose, or, tell to the public, otherwise we will end up his license. Everything that that is okay to share will be shared with you on Brightspace. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or to the logo, of course, and Mr. Red, I think still the president. Before we wrap it up, I have some quick questions about this topic. So number one, do you still remember how many what is the time? How long did this take?
5 hours, 25 minutes.
On the test. I didn't want to answer. So there was a fair answer.
Right there. Over 5 hours. Over 5 hours.
Exactly.
5 hours.
That is, how good are you in basement? Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you another question. How many years in the gap is between getting the
Hold it. Hands up.
Yeah, but we're just doing some, we're just asking Q&A, doing some stuff at students from the NCSE ESS.
Okay,
That's a difficult one.
What does NCEES stand for?
I know, and it's for national, but I don't know the rest. Yes, exactly.
The National Council.
Okay. Go ahead. National Council.
I guess Lee, I think I got something I want to add in the end if it's all right.
The National Council of.
Say that again, Evan.
No, I got something I want to add in the end if it's all right.
Okay, I'll let them know. Professor, Evan has one more thing to mention.
What?
He has something to mention, one more.
Okay.
Go ahead, Evan.
So before I'd like to end the presentation, I'd like to thank you all for attending, listening, and asking any questions I have. I hope all the answers I provided would be helpful when you start with your fulfilling direction and prosperous career. And the fact that I'm able to present, and there's never been a better time than now to be in the engineering field. I've learned about the FE exam back in 5 to 6 years ago. There used to be 2 little sheets of paper. I'm not sure if it is still up there now, but I remember seeing 2 little sheets upstairs. That's to either on the 2nd or 3rd floor of the Potter building, and it contained the information about what the FE exam is, what it's about, and this was back when it was still pencil and paper. That's the only thing I knew about it. And it didn't hit me until when I was interviewing with an engineering company in Cincinnati. I remember the question being asked is, are you planning on pursuing your FE or EIT? I didn't have a question. And I was convinced that this was why I didn't get that job. So the fact that I'm able to provide, and when I passed my PE back in August 2021, I made a promise to myself that I was going to provide this presentation as a way of spreading the information about this career direction other engineering students can see themselves in. And the fact that I'm able to present this information today in front of you means a lot to me. So again, I want to thank you all for attending, listening, and asking any questions I had. And I wish you all nothing but the best.
I think we have one more question from
That
there.
one,
Go for it.
what books do you recommend? What are they called? And are they on Amazon?
There are some that you can find on Amazon. So my first one is the NCES practice exam. You can get that through NCES website. The second one is more of a website instead of an actual hard copy material. And I would recommend writing this down, zachstone.com, I think it is, or type in Zach Stone FE exam and whatever Google search results will pop up. So the third one is going to be the Lindenberg books, Lindeberg, if I recall correctly. Those are going to be some of the harder questions, but this is where you start to understand the exam itself. And there's also another one you can get on Amazon easily. It's called Wasm Books. Just type in WASIM in the Amazon search. And I believe there's 3 practice questions available. Those were definitely helpful when I was taking the FE and the PE.
So guys, how many questions does this have? You asked so many questions, you deserve one.
Thanks.
By the way, you didn't get any promotion. Video way out, let's pick one.
Okay, oh wait,
No.
documents, softball juniors come up first. Thank you, brother.
There are papers, there are, notebooks, small notebooks, there are this, empty bags. So, guys, please, before we leave, please make sure that we thank the speaker. Yeah. Even thank you so much. It means a lot to the students as well. Provide such an interesting presentation. If I may ask only one thing from you, which is to share the presentation slides with me, if that's okay.
Yes. So if you have if there's a sign-in sheet at the presentation, everyone, I recommend putting your name and email on there if you haven't done so already. That's where I'll send you the full presentation and all of the materials I found that might be of help for moving in that direction.
Okay, great.
My name, I missed attendance by like, my name is Arthur Pepper, down to the other.
This answer.
This class,
For this class, okay, I thought that because you look like 18 years old.
Stop the video.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Evan.
Evan.
Thank
Have
you,
a-
All right, everybody, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take that down.
All right.
Thank you so much. Very resourceful and informative. Okay, that's it.
So in this one, this is it.
That's it. And it's, so we have to connect.